Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Trine number 018-4-BLK. What this is just simply a two-button transmitter. So this is a transmitter, and a transmitter is always going to work in conjunction with a receiver, and the combination of transmitters and receivers can be used to control hardware, and that's certainly what this does. Let's take some basic dimensional properties of it just for the sake of doing so, and then we'll talk about what it's used for. About 2 7/8 overall length. Its width, about 1 3/8 inches. The thickness of the transformer, about 1/2 inch at the top, and closer to about 3/8 at the bottom. 2 buttons, as you can see. There's a raised area dimple 1, and then over here 2 dimples. Let's talk about what you're going to use this for. Let's do that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, the concept of transmitters and receivers are used to, as I had said, control hardware, and a very common application for something like this, believe it or not, is to simply unlock a door. And that's where you're going to see items like this used, where it's very convenient to have wireless control over something. Obviously, we're all familiar with a garage door opener. The concept of transmitter and receiver on an overhead residential garage door is literally, forgive me, no different than what this is intended to accomplish. This is a 2-button control, and that does technically mean you're able to send a signal to 2 separate receivers. There are 1 single, double button receivers. Obviously, there are transmitters. There are transmitters that have more than 2 buttons because you want to control multiple things. A very typical application, and where this is going, I don't know what this client is intending to use this for. It's not stated, but they clearly have a Trine receiver, and they're going to control something. Very likely could be something as easy as a lock. You know, an electric strike you could use if you have a vestibule area and you normally during hours keep those doors locked. The reception person is able to take their little fob and hit that button and unlock the or open the circuit, or maybe close the circuit to the electric strike, meaning to either cut the power, which means it will then be unlocked, and that would be opening the circuit, and in that instance you would have a fail-safe electric strike, or you would open the circuit, you would close the circuit, where you would generally have an AC strike. And because AC, when you close the circuit, you then complete the circuit and electricity will flow. In an AC electric strike, you'll hear the buzz. So that could be how it works as well. That would be what we call a fail-secure electric strike. When the power is cut, it's locked. And, you know, a wireless controller like this, a wireless transmitter, is because it's not practical to run wire to the opening. You can easily take the electric strike, you can connect to it the receiver, obviously running power to it, and you will be able to control that remotely. Very convenient. Where you will use a transmitter and receiver combination like this is really only based, or I should say limited, by your imagination. Anything that you want a wireless on-off switch, and you can do it with 2 different receivers, you've got it right here. Let's switch to the screen view and let's look at the supporting information. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, here is the screen view of what it is that we're looking at. Extended description information down below. Let's take a look. This, the BLK stands for black. Believe it or not, you can do this in a red, blue, or white transmitter. That might serve a greater purpose than just a sense of fashion. You might be able to want to tell at a distance what transmitters operate what before you go to grab them. And it talks about 8 transmitters per receiver. That would be a limitation in terms of how many transmitters you can have on a single receiver. For instance, if you tried to, with a typical residential overhead door, try to get, I think, 4 transmitters programmed, you'll find that when you add the fourth, it disables the first, so you can only have 3 at one time. They're saying here you can have 8, or up to 8. The LED indicates operation. That will be a small little guy here. Rolling code technology, sure, that's pretty typical for all of them. Very, very unusual that you'll have a instance where a rogue wireless frequency signal open up something. It does happen, but very unusual for that to happen. The CR2032 battery is included. I'll show you a picture of that. And this must be used with the 017 TDC-4 wireless controller, and it's not backwards compatible with the prior model, unfortunately. And why that's the case is because the exact frequency that is used on this transmitter must be used with the exact frequency that the receiver is expecting to hear, so to speak. In the world of wireless transmitters and receivers, you have different frequencies. And if you happen to have a 300 megahertz frequency on something that is automatic door related, you might be in a position of having to replace all of it. Or maybe it's 392. One of the two frequencies was discontinued. So a couple of links down below here, instructions for the receiver and transmitter, and then the transmitter alone. Not a lot to see there, because if you've ever programmed an overhead garage door, you know what to do. You open up the receiver for programming. You then push and hold a button until you get a flashing light, and voila, it works. That's how this works. Before we get to the instructions, let's look at the images down below. Picture of the box. The label giving us the part number. A lot of people call for Trine transmitters, and the question out of Trine is always, what receiver do you have? The contents of the box. Hook and loop tape, if you want to stick that on something. The transmitter alone. The single screw removed, and then a close-up of the circuit board. And got your 2 buttons that are here. All right, now the installation instructions for the transmitter and receiver are here, because they talk about, we've got both documents. There are 2 documents is what I'm saying. The 018-4 remote is listed here, but everything on page 1 just simply talks about or shows you the receiver itself. Page 2 is literally the same as the installation instructions, just a different model. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. Here, this is the this is the transmitter and receiver installation instructions. And what I like about this is they do a great job at literally showing you a use case for this, and they're showing you how to wire it. So that's really neat, showing you how to wire that. So we were talking about, okay, you have an electric strike. It's going to be very typical to have someone with an office and want to be able to buzz people in, so to speak. Not real practical to run small wire underneath their desk, so you can do it wirelessly. So the receiver transmitter instructions is what this document is. Controller and transmitter would be the comprehensive document to set up an entire system. This client has ordered the transmitter only, and this is the installation instructions that are packaged with the unit that are here. They are scanned and uploaded here. So I'll leave it to you to read through the first page, because it is an overview. But really what we would be pointing out here is how to set the relay. And that's the part of the receiver that we're going to talk about. These dip switches are, of course, on the receiver. And there's dip switches 1 through 4. In the off position, the relay will stay active for 4 seconds. And what a relay does is, a relay is an electrical device that allows you, once it is initiated, power allowed to run to it, or power cut from it, allows you to accomplish a secondary task. Well, the relay that's in the receiver has 4 dispositions. You can have the relay constant for 4 seconds, or 8 seconds, or 16 seconds, or to act as a momentary switch in the sense that the relay will be active for as long as you're pushing the transmitter button. So why would you need a relay? Well, here a simple scenario is this, and this is a job that we did for an architect's office in Chicago. And what the client had us supply was an electric deadbolt. So there's an electric deadbolt that was in the frame. There's a strike that was in the door. There is a door closer, and there's a person at a reception desk about 10 feet inside of that opening. So with the narrow glass on the outside, and this is the neighborhood that you would keep the door locked. Think of a jewelry store. Generally in certain jewelry stores, certain neighborhood applications, you're going to be buzzed in so that the people on the inside have control over the traffic of who is entering. Exiting, you can't really have control over that, but entering they do. So via the glass that was in the door, the receptionist could see there's someone outside who's expected, and they would let them come in. So why would you need different relays? Well, with this electric deadbolt, the client needed to get the door from the open to the closed position before the relay would change state, allowing the electric deadbolt to relock. You don't want that bolt sticking out before the door gets closed, and that's why that would be a purpose of a relay. Now, an electric deadbolt could easily have a door position switch in it to solve that problem. But think of the scenario where you now don't have an electric deadbolt, but you have an electromagnetic lock. You've got a lock with 1,600 pounds of force. You might want the relay to be active for 16 seconds or 8 so that the door can be opened and then closed so that the electromagnetic lock is not activated, causing the door to clank closed. I've heard that. And people don't really notice it, but a door hardware person would notice it. That door just clanks closed really loud because it's 1,600 pounds theoretical force holding that armature and the magnet together. So you might want the door to close under standard hydraulic control, and then let the circuit close so that you then energize that circuit and then run current through the circuit and then energize the electromagnetic lock. You might want the door to get closed before it relocks, is what I'm trying to say. The momentary is nice because it will stay in that condition until you let the button go. So the discussion of the transmitter will forego discussion of the receiver because this is a transmitter video, not a receiver transmitter video. But nonetheless, it's all right here. This is nice because it also gives you a wiring diagram. It tells you where to put the wires. That's really the hard part in many of the installations. Where do I put the wires? So this is an interesting scenario that they have here. You've got a fail secure strike, which means that in the absence of power, this is locked. You have a normally open switch. What that means is when you take this doorbell button out of the box, there is no current that will flow, and it's literally shown that way. So in this contactor, when you take this out of the box and you put it on your desk, current will not flow through this. When you depress that button, the contactor is going to come off and close that circuit, closing the switch. But as soon as you remove your finger, it will come again to its normal, natural state, normally open. So a normally open switch will not allow current to run until you've influenced the switch. And in this case, influencing the switch would be pushing the button. Other options, you could have a couple of doors in succession, exterior and interior. You could have an interlock where one door will be, this would not be an interlock, but you could have one door needs to be closed and closed with a door position switch before the next circuit can be closed. So you could do an interlock here where you had a door position switch wired in series so that the outer door must be not only, the outer door must be in the closed position before you can open the circuit to this secondary door, because you may not be able to permit both doors open at once, whether it be a detention sort of application or just a secure flow of personnel. Okay, so there you go. A lot of fun reading there if you're remotely interested in low voltage electrical wiring. Now, there's a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page, and from here you can pull up from here you can pull up not only all of the Trine products we sell, and that would be by the link here, but there's also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to their price book or catalog. Templates are here, so resource documents are here. And Trine also has a very interesting, and I will locate it. Okay, random stuff here. I have a video that is inspired by a Trine document. I think I'll have to find it here. Yeah, electric strike troubleshooting guide. I will have this video added to our manufacturer's page here so that you can review that. It goes through basic troubleshooting in electric circuits, so not too terribly difficult, but nonetheless, it'll be here. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos in the sense that, you know, it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. If you have any questions on the Trine 018-4 2-button transmitter or any other Trine product, please reach out to us. I am quite partial to Trine, and I, unfortunately, whenever I can specify their products or use their products on a job, I will. One product that I have used with complete success is their exterior rated electric strike for rim exit devices. Just had complete success with that. I will use their products every time we can because exceptional technical support. Exceptional. Every time I call, and I usually have to leave a voicemail, but without exception over the years, I always get a call back from someone who has complete expert command over the subject matter, and that gentleman knows who he is, and to him, for that, I say thank you. I know that other people have developed other opinions about Trine, but any opinion south of the one that I've outlined, I have no experience with. If you have any questions on the 018-4 or any other Trine product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.